During an interview with Arise TV, Dele Farotimi, a retired lawyer, stated that Senator Govt, who is sitting as the Senate president, is facing multiple charges for stealing. Pointing out that it is high time people start paying for their crimes. He also stated that the former Accountant General was also accused of stealing 90 billion naira, and yet he's still working as free man today. Dele Farotimi further stated that if we are indeed practicing democracy, then someone has to be held accountable for these crimes. He also stated that the government is talking about palliative care instead of accountability. According to him, when is the poor man going to breathe? How? You are choking them and you are talking about them beating. How? Those who have brought us to this situation, how are they going to pay? Who is holding them accountable? All we are talking about is removing the thing and then palliative care. What about accountability? Who is talking about that? Somebody took 90 billion. Or somebody that took 90 billion. The Accountant General of the Federation, what has happened to him? He is walking away free. Akpabio, who is sitting as the Senate president, was facing multiple charges for stealing. And that is exactly how brazen we have become. There is no accountability of any sort. But we want to talk about palliatives and the removal of subsidies. What about paying for the crimes that have led us to this mess? Who is asking those questions? The point is this: if you are indeed a democracy, we will find out in the coming days, because somebody has to pay for this. And that's exactly what Dele Farotimi is saying. How can we have thieves as leaders? Akpabio is sitting there with multiple charges on his neck. We have the Accountant General of Nigeria who stole about 90 billion naira and is working free and moving around. And the same people are talking about palliative and are portioning about 70 billion naira to themselves as a palliative for the fuel subsidy removal, in the midst of their bogus allowances and salaries that they are earning as lawmakers, leaving nothing for the common man. And rather than talking about all these thieves, and it's not only Akpabio or the Accountant General that has stolen. What about the other people? We have people like Malami. Nobody's talking about him. People like what is his name? Issa Pantami. Nobody's talking about him. All the people that worked under Tinubu, nobody is talking about them. So what about this Wasiu that was special assistant to Buhari, and all the people that worked under him? Nobody is talking about them. How can we run a government like this? From thieves to thieves. From absolute thieves to absolute thieves. How are we going to run Nigeria in a manner that is unhealthy for everybody? And that's what Farotimi, if we're talking about what Farotimi is saying, that if we're talking about democracy, somebody has to pay for these crimes. They have to be brought to book. Exactly. And if we're talking about democracy, somebody has to be accountable to all of these funds that have been stolen. People that have put us in this mess that we're in today have to be held accountable if we're talking about genuine democracy. Otherwise, all we're just doing is child's play, and we just need to go and find something else and do, and stop deceiving ourselves. That is true. How can you tell us that you're talking about democracy and the people who are in government are actually the real thieves, not the people on the street, and nobody is talking about them? That is actually very, very, very terrible. Like I said earlier, look at how Akpabio ruled Akwa Ibom State. Look at how he managed NDDC. Look at the investigation and probe that the Ninth Assembly Committee made on that NDDC. Till tomorrow, we have not seen the report, we have not seen the outcome, because Akpabio was about to confess, okay, to review the people that are behind all the contracts that were going on in NDDC. And all of them were sitting as lawmakers in the probing committee trying to probe him. When he wanted to start talking, he told them, or even some of you sitting down on the panel there, know what I'm talking about, and you're involved. And before you know it, they say, Honorable, off your mic. Honorable, off your mic. And that was how the matter ended tomorrow. The same person has emerged as Senate President. How can we run a healthy system like this? It's just not possible. Obviously not possible. And so that is what Dele Farotimi is saying. And until then, fighting corruption is just a fake news. That is the truth. It's just a fake attempt. It's never going to be successful because corruption cannot fight corruption. The people setting up committee to fight corruption are themselves corrupt, are the corrupt people themselves. So what will come out of such investigation? Nothing. Nothing. And that is why the arrest of the former CBN governor and the former EFCC chairman, they are all just going to be exercising futility. It's just political witch hunt. It's not going to be proved. And that is why Buhari has warned them, warned his ministers that nobody should invite him, to testify in court. The same Buhari has had meeting with Tinubu to align and to ensure that it's not probed. So what are you talking about? How can you probe the ministers of Buhari without probing Buhari himself? It's just not possible. And who is Tinubu to even probe anybody? That is the truth. The government is full of corrupt people that have been stealing and milking Nigeria all along. And the same government is going to come out to probe anybody? No way. The result can come out of that. Okay? So the truth is Nigeria is just playing with all the issue of corruption matter they're talking about. We're having thieves as leaders, and so there's no way the country can get better until they pay for their crime.